Hey everyone, it's Grandmaster Ben Finegold here. Unfortunately, or maybe not, this is like I do a lot of practice videos for like 6 seconds, so I get like, strain and sound and video, and they all suck. I don't know why. I don't do anything different than I'm doing. So it's possible like my lips are moving and they're not in sync, or the video's no good, but I don't know why. But you guys were mean yesterday, so too bad. Um, let's see. For those of you who don't like me, which is about half of you, you're going to like today's video. Uh, Very suspicious video. I deleted a lot of comments, and once again, I'm thinking of either deleting my channel or making comments not accessible to you guys because you're just horrible. I mean, I thought Trump was bad. I thought Nakamura was bad, but I guess the reason you don't think they're bad is because you're worse. So anyway, I recommend if you don't like my videos to watch other people's videos instead of putting nonsense in the comments. Although it is a good way to stop me from making videos, so good job. Anyway, you guys will be happy with the haters because, yeah, a very suspicious game today. So I had a tournament at my chess center, and we had 27 players, which is very good. So I raised the prizes a little bit. And we had a 5-way tie for first with 4 out of 5. One of the players gained over 150 rating points, Ocean Liu. I guess the biggest surprise, there were a lot of upsets. For example, in round 2, board 1 was a draw, and boards 2, 3, 4, and 5, the lower rated player won. So it's like 200, 300, 400 point upsets. And what's funny is one player lost his first game and won his next 4, and tying for first. In the last round, he beat the highest rated player in the tournament, and he still lost rating points. Man, tough tournament. Now, the game I'm showing today, since I brought my computer, it's funny, I almost left my laptop at the chess center again. And I was like, oh yeah, I have to make a video. So it would have been another stupid video on my phone, so that would have been funny. But it's more than you guys deserve anyway. We are getting some donations, but not for the amount of complaining and deleting I have to take. One guy wrote, I shouldn't make a video a day because it's too hard. These are very easy. What's hard is reading all your comments and deleting them. So, I mean, I can't leave your comments on my page because children read it. And when you say things like Trump's a good president, you should go to a mental hospital. Like, you're just obviously insane. You really shouldn't be on the internet. So anyway, I read on somewhere, Twitter? Yeah, it was Twitter, and I guess Facebook, but mainly Twitter. There's a match next week on chess.com. I have a chess.com shirt on by coincidence, between John Bartholomew and Lawrence Trent. So if you hate me, you should really hate Lawrence Trent, although nobody hates John Bartholomew. Nobody. Rawr. Yeah, I think he has no enemies, so hopefully he'll win against Lawrence Trent. I like Lawrence also, but I mean, he has a lot of enemies, so maybe I should back him then because enemies going to stick together. Yeah, we're hoping at some point to have like a U.S. versus, I was going to say U.S. versus America. I'm dumb as you guys now. U.S. versus Great Britain, not too great. Me and Danny Wrench go Danny, against Lawrence Trent and Ginger GM. Sort of like a trash-talking doubles game or something. I don't know. I'm not sure how that would work, how we'd have 2 against 2. Probably could have like one guy trash talk the other guy play, but those other 3 players are so terrible. Maybe I could give them queen odds. Is that enough? Well, maybe. Anyway, I don't want to talk about the game because I'm mad at you at home, so you're going to just wait. Yeah, this tea's good. Still a vegan. The second day I missed my run because I saw some movie and I was at the chess center all day and I got home like at 12:30. Probably if I had gone out for my 30-minute walk at 1 in the morning, would have died of frostbite, which would be nice for some of you people. But anyway, I've been recently going to the treadmill downstairs because it's 70 degrees down there instead of 15 degrees. And I'm out in the weather all the time because of the dog, which you saw in the last video. The dog goes out every 2 minutes, so I'm outside in the cold at least an hour a day because I take him out 40 times a day. Anyway, hopefully she'll get potty trained soon, and hopefully you will too. Okay, now the video of the chess game, which obviously is as good as all the jokes I'm making. What happened was, at the chess center, there's two things I don't like when I run chess tournaments. One is, I don't like when pairings are made, people are playing their games, and somebody doesn't show up. So there's a person sitting there the whole game and waiting for their opponent wins on forfeit. I really dislike that. I can happily say this tournament that didn't happen. There were 5 rounds. Every game was played every round. Everybody was paired. Nobody complained, and so forth. I mean, I take special care to make sure that happens. Second thing I don't like is when there's an odd number and somebody doesn't get to play a game. That's terrible. So usually, oh my God, Nakamura. My wife will play somebody who has the bye, and they don't have to play. They can say, I don't want to play. And sometimes one of the parents wants to play. So it's very rare at our chess club that somebody doesn't get to play a game. Anyway, so rounds 1, 2, and 3, there was a bye, and Karen played the bye. They wanted to play, and so forth. Round 4, there was no bye. There was an even number because of half-point buys and stuff. So no problem. Then round 5, why was there a bye in round 5 and there wasn't? Oh, yeah, because one of the players withdrew. Okay, so normally Karen would play, but Karen was here at the house. This is another room in my house. I know it's amazing for you at home. I have more than one room in my house. The house is about 3,000 square feet plus a finished basement, so maybe 4,200 square feet if you include that. Probably have about 20 chess sets in the house. There's a really beautiful wood set with wood pieces here that was a present from my stepson's dad. Beautiful chess set. Actually, in the room I was giving a chess lesson in yesterday, in the room I made my video yesterday with my stupid phone, my Genius phone, there was a chess set like a foot from me, but it wasn't on the chess set. So, and then there's a million rooms in the house, and they all have chess sets. So, in fact, right behind me over there, behind you, this is the chess room. There's chess everywhere. So, anyway, you all suck is the point. Okay. Let's see. You're stupid. You suck. I should have lost to a 1. Oh, yeah. Okay. Let's see. Since this is a long preamble, I'll recite the preamble. We, the people of the United States. Now, okay, you guys don't know what the preamble is anyway. So the story goes, the person in the last round who got the bye was rated 1,000, and they said, I want to play a rated game. And, well, I don't want to play them because they're rated 1,000. They don't want to play me. So I asked some of the parents, and there's some rated players there that weren't playing, and they're like, no, I don't want to play. No, I don't want to play, blah, blah, blah. And I said, did you want to play me? He's like, yeah, great. And I'm like, okay. Because I'll play a rated game with somebody if they want to play, if they have a bye. They still win in the tournament, but they want to play. Come there to play chess, not to not play chess. Okay, so I said, you want white or black? And I knew he was going to say white. I was like, oh, I want to have white. But instead he said black, and he tricked me. So I still said, oh, I wanted to have black, because, Anyway, so I'm white, and I'm playing a player rated 1,000. And when I say 1,000, I don't mean 1,500, I mean 1,000. And this is actually a student of mine. When I say he's my student, he's not really my student, but I do teach him. He's a very smart young man named Varun, and he has a sister named Varsha, and they're both in my class at Fulton Science Academy, which is a private school here where my stepson goes and his brother. And probably the best school in Georgia. It's K through 12 school. There's probably 25 USCF rated players there. And there's an expert who's 11 years old. There's 2 A players, and one of the A players is 9. And then there's my stepson Archer, who was 1,400 when he was 6, and I can go on and on. On Monday, I teach a class of the strong rated players at the school, and on Friday, International Master Carlos Perdomo teaches the lower rated kids. He has like 30, 40 kids. Most of them don't have ratings, but some do. And my class in general is over 900. And some way over 900. So this Varun is in my class, and we're paired in a rated game. Okay, and I'm the director. Okay, so wow, almost 10 minutes of preamble. Maybe I should stop the video. That's long enough. Now I'll show you the game. Okay, so I played e4, and it was a French defense. I don't usually play e4, but okay, if I'm rated 1,560 points higher than my opponent, I should play what I want. And when I face the French, I almost always play the advance. Sometimes I play the exchange. And this is most theory ever. The computer's already spinning. That's good. I'm glad the video's not in good shape because I'm still mad at you guys. Okay, and this is a basic trap that some of you know and some of you forgot. If my opponent tries to win a pawn, this is a well-known blunder because the queen's not protected. It's lined up with my queen. So I play bishop b5 check and attack the queen. Okay, I mean, everybody knows this. So super grandmasters, when they're black, trade on d4 and then play bishop d7. This threatens the d4 pawn because bishop b5 isn't check anymore. Okay, and a lot of people play bishop d7 right away, and I believe this is an error. When I say it's an error, it's as Ronan Harsvi would say, tiny little error. Okay, it's a small error because now white has the option of taking on c5 and playing castles. White could also play queen e2, and now white's going to push back black. Back black? It's going to push back black? But that was actually right. What would Jack Black and AC/DC say about that? That they're back in black? Ugh. Okay, what's worse, AC/DC or Jack Black? So AC/DC is good and Jack Black is horrible. So actually, Jack Black was good in one thing. It's a Weird Al video called Tacky, because Tacky, don't sue me, Weird Al. Wait a minute, you already stole this song. So okay, and Jack Black was actually good in that. So he's good in one thing. Okay, and obviously AC/DC is great, rawr, because they go rawr when they sing. Okay, so the point is white's going to play b4 and bishop e3 and b5 and keep moving his arms until somebody resigns. So I think white has an advantage here. I think in the database, white's scoring about 60%. So, okay, my opponent played f6, breaking a very important rule, never play f6. And here I made like a tiny mistake, but I don't really care. I could play bishop f4, developing a piece, but I took... Oh, no, I played b4, and then I should play bishop f4, but I took. Not sure why I took. I think taking on f6 has never been played. I want to develop my opponent's pieces. Yay. Well, it's game 30, and I'm moving like instantly, because I got to direct the tournament. b5, bishop e3. These moves are all okay. Computer says white's better. Very reasonable. Okay, now my opponent blundered, and I should have won him the game. Now, I have a friend in Michigan. I know it's hard to believe. Actually, I have many friends in Michigan because I'm from Michigan. You live there for 30 years, you get some friends. Wesley Berger, who's a 2300 player who quit chess before you were born, which is true. And he's in his mid to late 70s. I think he's 76, but he could be 77 or 75. He's one of those. And he told me about 10 years ago, and I've said this in my videos before, one of the reasons I'm good is I make good mistakes. And that may confuse you at home because you guys make bad mistakes. For example, voting for Trump is a good mistake because it's hilarious. So it's obviously a mistake, but it's funny. So if Hillary was president, that's not too funny. That's not funny at all. That's just serious. Terrible. I mean, no, but seriously, how good would SNL be the last year if Hillary was president? It might be okay, but I mean, now it's great. So I mean, SNL wasn't good for 30 years, and now it's like a good show. Okay, so here my opponent made a good mistake. It's a terrible move. It loses. If you're playing an engine, you get crushed. But it beats the heck out of me. Knight g4. Now, obviously, he's threatening h2, and maybe he wants to play e5. Okay, and somehow I found the right move. Well, I'm telling you, it's the right move, so you can find it too. So pause your video and find the crushing blow. Ow. Oh, you're pausing the video, Kel. I'll take a drink. Yeah, my iced tea's unsweet because I'm already sweet enough. Bishop h7, rawr. Now, obviously, frankly, ridiculously, if he takes, then I check, and I play queen takes g4, and I've shown this tactic many times. So my opponent played king h8. And here, according to the engine, I'm like +4 if I play knight e5, which I almost played. And the idea is I want to play queen h5 as soon as possible. So like if knight takes e5, my queen can go to h5 and try to mate him. But knight e5 is really sharp and crazy. It's just the computer says it wins. And I'm taking like 20 seconds a move, if that, so I'm not calculating 20 moves ahead. My move's fine. h3. Okay, nothing wrong with that. I'm still like +3 or something. and he played bishop h2. And now, when I played bishop h7 check, I calculated this, and I moved quickly. So when the position arrives on the board that you calculated earlier, you don't play quickly, you reconnoiter. But, when you're so much higher than your opponent, you're just overconfident. And it's funny, in my mind, when I was analyzing variation A and B and C and so forth, pi and the symbol for Batman, boron, when I was analyzing all that, in some of the variations, I noticed the pawn on f2 was hanging. And in some of the variations, I correctly noticed it's not hanging. And it was funny. So I was always worried about knight f2, and I was like, oh, no, I can take with the bishop. And then I'd be worried about it and forgot I could take with the bishop. It doesn't make any sense. So, of course, if I play king h1 here, since the pawn on f2 is protected, I'm just winning. I think +3 or something. I'm up a pawn. The knight's hanging on g4. If I take the knight, then the bishop on h2 is hanging. The knight on a5 is silly. The rook on a8 is silly. My pieces are all good. And the computer says something like +3. Okay. And I think when I played bishop h7 and I saw this position, and I saw a lot of positions, this was one of them, I convinced myself king h1, knight f2 mate. So I instantly play king f1 and hit the clock. Now I remember when I analyzed bishop h7, I was worried about queen c4. And then I was like, oh, there's a knight on d2 that defends c4. So then I forgot about that diagonal. When I hit the clock, I was like, oh, bishop takes b5 check. And then he thought a few seconds and played bishop takes b5 check. So basically, I was a little better out of the opening. I outplayed him. I was winning. And then I played king f1. And occasionally, you play a move that's so bad. Well, occasionally for me. For you, it's like 3 times per move. Where you cannot recover. Like you could play perfect and you're going to lose. And this is the instance. And I was like, should I play c4 or rook e2? And they're both terrible. So now I started thinking a long time and being really serious about the game. And I thought I was going to lose. Like here I wasn't sure if I was going to lose, but later I was sure. And when you rated 2570 USCF, it's hard to lose to 1000. The funny thing is a couple of days ago, somebody put in the comments, like, if you lost to a 1500, how would that affect your rating? And I said, like, I can't lose to a 1500. But then 2 days later, I proved myself wrong. Although not technically, because the person's not 1500, they're 1000. Okay. Now, let's stop for a second, because you guys like when I don't talk about chess at all, and I talk about nonsense. Am I dying here? Stop that. Stop having a heart attack. You're giving a chess lesson. I said stop. What was I saying? Let's see. 3 + 1 is 4. That's less than 1. It could be pi. Pi. I can't have pi. I'm a vegetarian and a vegan. Darn. I could have some pi. What was I talking about? Oh, yeah. So a lot of people, when they lose, their behavior is suspicious. Like when you lose and you start swearing at your computer and throwing things and being an idiot. When I thought I was going to lose, I was like, yeah, I've lost a lot of games, so losing to anybody doesn't really bother me. You lose. It's worse if it's like the last round and you win $1,000 if you win and you're hungry and then you lose. Okay, that makes me feel bad that I'm not winning like tons of money, but there's no money on the line. So if I'm losing like whatever it is, 16 rating points, it doesn't matter. I don't care. So I don't like losing, but you lose. Play chess, you lose. So I wasn't really bothered that I was losing. I've been losing before. I played rook e2, which is better than c4. And now there's no reason to take my rook because the rook is pinned. I think e5 is the best move, and it's like +3 or +4 for black. Okay, but he took the rook, which he shouldn't do. He's still winning. And now he played an excellent move. In fact, he played a lot of excellent moves. Must have a good teacher. Probably somebody that's not me. He played e5, which is the best move. And now I thought about 5 minutes, which is unusual against a 1,000 player and a 30-minute game. And I was like, this loses, this loses, this loses. And he was like, quiet. And I was like, but I'm losing. He said, oh, okay, keep talking. Yeah. So I looked at taking on e5, taking on g4, taking on h2, playing bishop to c2. And I was like, man, they all lose. So I played a bad move according to the engine, but I'm trying to be tricky. So I don't really think it's that bad. I played knight h2. He played knight h2, and I thought this was a mistake on his part when he took my bishop, because I overlooked one of his defenses. So here I thought everything was good for me. And I concluded, which is sort of funny, if I play queen h5, that he has to play g6. And I analyzed g6, and I was like, well, I don't want to do that. So I played a better move. And it turns out after queen h5, he has a very strong move, which he played anyway. So after bishop g6, when I played bishop g6, I didn't see this move. And then as he was thinking, I was like, oh, that's a really strong move. And then about a minute later, he played it. So it wasn't my best game. Although bishop g6 is okay, I'm just losing. Down rook. So while you at home, pause the video because I'm thirsty. What's the best move for black? Okay, and my opponent played it. Queen f4. And queen f4 is very strong if I play queen h5 instead of bishop g6 because the queen's going h6. And if my queen was on h5 already, f2 is hanging and d2 is hanging, so at least they're defended. Okay, so now I'm just down a rook. I mean, I got nothing. So I took the pawn because otherwise he'll play d takes c3. He played rook f6, which is probably the best move. And I thought a long time here, and again, this loses, this loses, this loses, which gives me some chances, and none of them do. So, man, it's harsh. Okay, so I checked. And I think the engine plays bishop e8 here, which I didn't consider. I took and played bishop h5. I mean, he's up a rook, and if I take his knight and he takes on f2, that's pretty dead lost. So he played knight c4. I thought he double rooks on the f file, but it doesn't really matter. Every move was bad. I played rook d1. He played rook f4, which I didn't see. And again, it was like everything loses, which loses the least, and I was having a tough time. And here's the thing. If I was playing somebody 22, 23, 2400, maybe even lower than 2200, I would be like, oh, this gives me good drawing chances if I play this line. But I can't do that here. I have to win. I can't draw a 1000 player. So if I find like a forced draw, I can't play it. I have to have a losing position, hope he blunders. So. Okay, so I figured I'll get a pass D pawn. He'll have a pass C pawn. Maybe he'll blunder, but no. C3 is the best move. I was really getting worried about that C pawn. So, for example, if he goes like C2 and rook C8 and rook D4 and rawr, and I'm getting crushed over here. I guess rook B4 makes more sense. Okay, I'm an old man. I'm confused. Okay, so I played rook C1, and I was hoping he would take my D pawn, I would take his C pawn, eventually I would take his knight, and try to win an exchange on anything that's lost. But he played correctly, rook C8, and I finally took the knight. I thought he would take on F2, and he played rook D4, which is also good. And if I defend my D pawn, like bishop F3 or bishop F7, he plays C2 and just starts pushing his queenside pawns. So I didn't want him to push his queenside pawns, so I sacrificed my D pawn, bishop D1, the computer move, and bishop B3. This way I'm like solid on the queen side. Now I can push my kingside pawns and hope not to lose right away. Rook D2, F4. Now in this position, I had less than a minute, maybe 40 seconds, and there's a 5-second delay for the whole game. There's no time control. And he had about 5 minutes maybe. So, okay, he played C2, which probably isn't the best move, but it's fine. Yeah. And now he has to move his king. You should always move the king in the ending. So every move he should play king G7, king F6. Like the next 1,000 moves. Every move he doesn't play king G7, he should have played king G7. And then I have nothing. King G7, king F6, resigns. Okay, he played rook D1, which is a really weird move. It wins, but it's really strange because it gives away the C pawn. So it doesn't make a lot of sense. It does win. So. Okay, I took his C pawn, and I defended my pawn. And again, king G7, king F6. Oof, I got nothing. I'm just lost. So he played here, and when he played rook F1, I was like, oh, I wanted to move my king and pawns up, but he stopped king F3 and king F4, so king H4. Again, king G7, king F6, resigns. And he played here, king G7. And here's the last chance for king G7. King G7 is still winning, I think pretty easily, actually. But he played here. Now, I'm not even losing, and I have 2 moves that draw. King takes h6 draws, and I played king g6 because I wasn't interested in his h-pawn. I wanted to play f6, f7, then bishop f5 and win. This is a draw now. It's good I'm not losing. And I had like 9 seconds. Played b3, which is fine. And a3, threatening a2. So b4 is forced. And now he had well, this next move isn't a blunder, but the idea is a blunder. What he should do is try to play a2, so like rook f2. And computer says it's a draw, all zeros, no matter what we do. So maybe I would have won, because just because it's all zeros doesn't mean it's a draw. It means that somebody might win, but computer would draw. He played rook e1. This is funny. I was like, oh, he's going to take my bishop and then queen, so I better move my bishop. So I was trying to figure out where to move my bishop, and I was like, well, if I move my bishop anywhere, you can attack it. You know, bishop f7, he plays rook e7, and so forth, anywhere. Then I was like, wait a minute, he can't take my bishop. So I did all this in like 3 seconds because, you know, no time on my clock, and it's a 5-second delay, so I'm okay. And I was like, well, he didn't play rook e1 not to take my bishop. He played rook e1 to take my bishop. I mean, otherwise I played rook e1. Well, since taking my bishop loses, I wanted to encourage him to take my bishop. So I played b5. I figured if he doesn't take my bishop, at least I have passed pawns everywhere. Once again, the computer says it's a draw. It plays rook e2. I'm not sure why it's a draw, but I believe it. And it says every variation is a draw, like all reasonable moves draw. I don't know. I mean, in a blitz scheme, I'd rather have white because his king's on h8, so he doesn't really have a king. And here he blundered. He had about a minute left, maybe, and he took on e6 because that was his plan. And he didn't realize that even though he queens first, I queen with mate. So I played e7, then he realized. Yeah. So the only really bad move he played, like after move 16, was rook takes e6. Was like at the end of the game. Otherwise, he was winning, and then he was drawing. And of course, he should play king g7, king f6, like the last 15 moves, and just win easily. But didn't move his king up in the ending. Of course, he played till mate. Now that I think about it, I could have promoted to a rook. But okay, I made a queen. So a very, very, very fortuitous win. That means lucky. If you know what movie that's from, put it in the notes. Fortuitous means lucky. And the response, should I tell you the response? No. So when the person in question says that's fortuitous, that means lucky. What movie is it from, and what was the response from the other person? Put it in the notes and win a prize, the prize of pride. Then you too will be a king, because it's a pride. Anyway, I'm out of jokes, and you guys are all the worst, but you can better yourselves by sending a donation to the Chess Center, atlchessclub.com, atlchessclub.com, I've said that before, /donate. Okay, now don't donate to Slash, he has plenty of money, okay? So donate to me, yay, because look how well I played. If you want to see games like that again, you better pay. Roar. Okay, so that was an unusual game. Tournament was rated. You guys can look and see all the players. You can always go to our website and our Facebook page and our Twitter page and our YouTube page. And this is my page. And it's 10 o'clock, so I got to go on the treadmill. Good night, everyone, and good bishop. Bye-bye.